What up, YouTube? Absolute here with an update on the Mamba Monster Rustler. I'm super excited. For the first time I've seen her run, get the tires spinning, even on just on 2-cell for a quick test, and servo alignment kind of blew me away too as well. It was pretty awesome. Showing kind of what I got. Work's been done. It's funny, you can see kind of how many hours you put into something, and then it doesn't turn out to be huge results. But I've always liked doing a build slow because you can do it super careful and think a lot about what you're going to do and take a lot of steps. So I've always kind of been like that. And the builds that I've done slow have always turned out to be my best, which is pretty neat too as well. So excited because also today in the mail, my new batteries came in. My little stash here of SPC lipos that I got. Another one of the 3 cells came in. I had one of them before. I had these 2 cells. I got one more, and then I got some little 2250s for the little 16 scale. I had purchased these when I was actually at Hobby Parts picking something else up, some extra receivers. So I threw these on. They were $10, but they ended up being way too big against the reviews of the reviews online there, anyways. Which is kind of BS. I mean, I'm not really sure why they would throw that. It didn't even come close to fitting properly. Not even close to. So they're taking it back, and then I'll probably just order the gyro from them. I have one in mind. But so as you can see here, kind of how she is. Biggest thing I've done is in regards to mounting the Mamba, and then of course, as I said before, I was gonna go up top, but then it kind of left the battery. Sitting a little forward, didn't really like kind of how it went. So after much thought and debate, I did end up mounting to the side. It didn't, of course, hang out very far, which is nice. I kind of saw it didn't hang out very far at all. When I was doing this, I figured if I was going to do it, I was actually made some extensions. And here they are right here. I made some 3-inch extensions plus the bullet connector, so it's over 3 inches. But the wire itself was 3 inches, and soldered on the same size bullet that goes on there. It's actually nice because if I use that, it allows me to run the wires inside of here and then down, which actually ends up looking pretty good. But you're adding, even though you're adding, one more point of a connection, so you end up losing voltage. Not a big issue here, especially with these big old 6.5 millimeter bullet connectors, because they're so big and they're not like, trackless or DN connectors where you lose a lot more power, but it does make a difference nonetheless. So I end up kind of set up here too as well. I had to shift the motor the way it was. I had to it kind of aimed down so the wires. So my original thought were kind of butting up against the drive shaft in here, kind of bent too much. I ended up taking off the head of the motor and then able to shift it around the 3 screws that hold it with the 4, and then instead of it pointing a little bit lower, it ended up bumping up at like 15 degrees or 20. Ended up being perfect to riding right there. And mounting up. Again, nothing new. People have done this before me plenty of times, but just to fix. One thing I did do that I haven't seen before that I believe is new, I'm pretty sure is the way I've mounted my batteries. And I'll show you guys here the way, let's get a good view here, of the way I'm mounting my batteries, which I thought kind of ended up turning out really, really well. So, alright, so I'm mounting my 3-cell batteries. They're going to be on top there. So let's do the first one. The first one is going to take a strap. I'll end up putting 2 straps, but we'll use one in the interest of saving time. Let's just use one here. And bear with me just for a second here while I put this together. Okay, so here's the first battery. It goes in too as well, as you can see here. With the spacers that I have on the tray, as you can see right there, these axial spacers, those are 6 millimeters. With this specific top plate, the battery does not move up or down more than exactly 1 millimeter, and I'll probably just put a little cushion so it doesn't move down at all. So it's nice and snug, which is really, really nice. Mounting that. Okay, so by doing that too as well, where that level is and where this, I actually, with the spacers that I have here, with those size of, post screws, I guess, let's take this off for better view. With those size of post screws, that's on there, and with the spacers that I have on there, I'm actually able to end up doing this. I'm actually able to take the regular plastic connector piece, and then securing the first battery, the lower battery, like this. Put this in here. Nice and snug too as well, with the way that it's facing here. Not going anywhere too as well. Really nice and snug. As you can see here, battery's not coming up and down. Put the straps on, a little bit too. But put the straps on there, and then take, of course, the second battery, slide it on. And instead of, a different way than having them touch together for a little bit of heat dissipation, which is nice. I'm actually able to have them sit, slide this back here, have them sit on this plate here, and then also on the back plate, and then strap it down. And then also what I did, before I strap it down, what I did too as well is I very, very carefully took some measurements and drilled some holes. And what I did is I made 2 posts on the ESC mount there. As you can see, that post right there. We remove the battery, slide it back. You can see it's barely fits perfectly snug with where the hole placements was. And I put these 2 posts here. They're made out of the Traxxas 3x15 posts for their extension kit for the Stampede, along with some screws drilled down in there. I'll end up taking it off and putting some nuts there as well, but they're super sturdy. And it's almost kind of luck to where the spacing that I got there, I mean, it wasn't luck, it was, measure twice, cut once, more like measure 10 times. But with the space that I have here, the battery is able to fit nice and snugly right there without any cost of the soft pack, but it sits really nice and snug, so that lateral support. And then it can sit here on the top plate, as well as there. These posts hold it from lateral support that way. And then, of course, taking the strap and strapping it down. So yeah, so there it is. It'll be 2 straps. I also got some Tekin straps as well, but they ended up not fitting. They were just a little too short, and they had one that was long, 2 10-inchers and one 18-incher. They ended up being the 2 10-inchers were too short, and the 18-inchers was too long. But these aligned straps, which funny, the Tekin was $14 for 3 straps. The aligned straps were $3 for 2. But it's cool. I'll probably just keep those Tekin straps, or if I could take them back, I will. But as you can see, that kind of came down a little bit here. Let's readjust that. You can kind of see the level perfectly. Fix this camera. There we go. Alright, there we go. And I'll have to just cut the tip of the strap too as well, so that it doesn't do this old action right here. But there it is. A little heat dissipation, which is nice. The batteries aren't touching themselves. They have a sturdy support to mount onto. That bottom one is not going anywhere for sure. With the 2 straps, that top one is not either, from up and down movement. Also, these hold it from nice side lateral movement, and worked out real nice. I'll plug in the Rustler for you guys, kind of hear just a little bit of it functioning. Again, I didn't use my extensions, but I can. So I'm also debating on the receiver, if I'm going to put it in the receiver box, which is a no use waterproof wise, because I won't be obviously running this through the water. But it does have a nice place to sit, the receiver box, and hold the wires real nice, so that's cool. But I still haven't debated on whether I'm going to run it or not. I have a little plan of running my little NOS thing that I do on my other trucks. It's like my little signature type thing. I'm running it somewhere here too as well. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the receiver out or if I'm going to put it in the box. It's a little bit cleaner in the box, but it takes up more room and such. So we'll see. We'll definitely see there for sure. This battery, of course, is just it's a 2-cell. Just a 2-cell. It's charged up, so that's why the 3 cells I'm going to have to charge up together. They have storage charge right at this time. But plugging that in just kind of. Okay, so turned on real quick, just kind of show you guys what she sounds like and such. With the steering, super responsive, of course, with the 1257 Savox. Of course, that noise, for somebody that don't know, is the digital servo noise. but steering is nice. And then just on the 2-cell, I was kind of blown away when I kind of tested this out. But just on the 2-cell, again, just on the 2-cell, it's pretty wild. Probably a lot more noise than it is bang, a lot more bark than it is bite, just because of the metal spur and pinion. And but yeah, exciting stuff. Batteries are in, things are ready to go. Just a gyro, but it still can be run without one. But besides that, she is on. Alright, so last little segment in regards to the body and the plans. Of course, it's a clear Rustler body. Does not include the Pro Graphics, or as Traxxas calls them, the Pro Graphics body. Graphics with an X. And here's the plans kind of here. You can see on the front, you see this little front spoiler. This is a somewhat of a wing for a specific vehicle from factory team associated. It, as you can see here too, is nice. What's nice is, well, kind of the plans are, and first plans kind of make it detachable. You don't want to crash into something like this with it hanging out, but looking in a way, making it detachable. Also get to look all nice and cleaned up. And as you can kind of see here, what's nice is with the flow of the wing, with air coming in here, directs nicely, where it matches this slope of the body pretty nicely. So as air can come in and guide over it instead, without, of course, this, air will come straight directly through here, which would be good for cooling, but it, you know, aerodynamics is better. Also, with the wing on, or front spoiler, of course, it will hopefully kind of guide the air a little bit better on the sides, and that'll be cool. That'll be nice. Kind of try that out with it on. Again, make it detachable so I can kind of play around with it, see if it makes any difference whatsoever, looks and actually aerodynamic wise, if it helps, you know, the truck not lift off, maybe use some less weight. So that'd be cool. I'll get it all cleaned up. Also make it a way if there's a front impact, it won't get busted up. So that'd be chill. I got this body to paint up along with, you know, like 4 more bodies I got to paint up. So I've been kind of holding off on doing any one of them until I can do them all in the shop, which would be kind of a pain in the butt, so I don't want to rush them. You know, building slow is nice because you can really take your time and plan things out. But yeah, so there's that action. A couple thoughts too as well. One thing I wanted to show was I picked this up 2 days ago from my local classifieds, Tekin T8. I have 2 Pro 4 motors, one of them still in the package as well. I'll grab that out. This one here actually hasn't been soldered up yet too as well. This one can be ran with 3-cell, but I run one with my Stampede on just 2-cell in it. And it's a monster for sure. This one can handle 3-cell, according to Tekin. The other one can too, but it voids their warranty according to them. The 4000 kV, this 3300 kV can do 2 or 3-cell. As you can see, Tekin's definitely not cheap by any means too as well. These T8s are even more, but I got this for nearly a steal from local classifieds for as brand new too as well, as you can see here. Brand new condition, hasn't been soldered yet or anything like that. Not a scuff or a scratch on it. Super stoked because I got it for a killer deal. I'll tell you guys, it was $70, and so way excited about that. Jumped all over it. And then my birthday's coming up, so I plan on getting an RC to build around this thing. And so it's going to be like a Mugen MBX 6E Eco or something like that. I'm not really sure. There's not too many places to actually open up a good full-size 8-scale buggy around here, where I don't, one I wouldn't want to bash, such as a Mugen. There's not really any tracks around here that can accept it. All the tracks here are small. And so nowhere I can really open it up. And so the rational decision wouldn't really be to get one, but, you know, this hobby isn't exactly rational anyways as it is. So there's that. I'm also curious to try it out with the Rustler to see how it does. Word on the street is the Mamba Monster is faster, but this motor is smoother performance. So that'd be kind of neat. Curious to see how it does. When I get an RX-8, I'll pair them up, maybe throw it on, kind of see how get a good comparison between the two, just on the Rustler. As for size, if any of you are curious as to see the size difference between the Mamba Monster Rustler and the Tekin T8, they are very similar in size, near identical. This specific motor is a 2050 kV, and 2050 kV. Focus. Probably lights. And so, but in regards to width, it is identical to the Mamba Monster, down to the millimeter. There goes the body. It is identical to the Mamba Monster in width, and then on length, they're different kV for the Teak and T8s. Do have a different length. I saw a comparison between this motor and a 1700 kV, and the 1700 kV was a longer motor, which I think actually will come out to be even longer than Mamba Monster. But this motor itself is the same thickness and about a quarter inch or 3/8 of an inch shorter than the Mamba Monster. So very, very similar. And if you guys have ever owned sensor motors, I always was afraid. I didn't really want to bash with one, but I ended up running the sensor Mamba Max Pro with Teak Pro 4 system in my Stampede, and I absolutely love it. It is a fantastic system. Does really, really well. Super smooth, tons of torque. It's definitely a monster. Absolutely love it. Also, my workspace, I've been craving some more storage. So IKEA was doing like a remodel, so they took a bunch of their things out on their floors and wasn't available. But I got these shelves at IKEA, and so to match them, I wanted to get some more. They were doing the remodel, but finally they just got done doing so. And so I got a bunch more of these shelves, super cheap at IKEA. They're $3 for the whole shelf for the 2 brackets and the top wood piece to go more on this side, all kind of lined up along this side too as well. So it'll be nice to have some more space in the workspace. That'll be cool. Going back, I kind of wanted to say some things. First of all, big shout out to my homie RCOG12 or the RCOG12. Real cool cat. Appreciate his shout outs as well. Good guy. Good videos. Nice Stampede 4x4 as well. And then look forward to his Rustler build. Shout out to Dark Olympic Heart. Shout out to John Racer X. And all you other guys out there doing your thing. Whether it is with a Rustler, doing the 100-mile-an-hour setup. Whether it's with that. Whether it's with another Traxxas. Whether it's with a Losi factory team. You know, this hobby isn't exactly a rational purchase. And, but, it's something to show for it. You spend money on this versus other things, and you got something to show for it. And above all else, is a good way to keep our thoughts positive and, have good productive thoughts in our minds instead of just focusing on the daily grind with work, bills, school, whatever's. It's one way for me to kind of get away without getting away and getting out of touch with reality. And, instead of myself personally spending it down a bottle, spending it on this is definitely more worthwhile to me. Plus, above all else, if it wasn't for the knowledge that we share in the community, then, I mean, none of us would be able to really match the level that we are, because all of us trying to do this from step one on our own to last step of building a truck by yourself with having to experiment yourself, most importantly with your own wallet, versus knowing someone who's done it and knowing that it's not a good part. X part is, being able to jump straight to that and avoid that step right there is an awesome thing. So shout out to everybody in the RC game. It's definitely a cool thing. It's definitely a priceless thing for the forums and for YouTube and any other means that someone has of sharing their rigs. While that, I'll be having this thing done shortly. As you saw a little bit ago, she is running, so that's pretty exciting. I just put on 2-cell here, and it was extremely loud. Watching the video again, I saw that it actually wasn't that fast, but inside the workspace, it was super loud with the metal gears, and so it really was more bark than bite. But that's on 2-cell. On 6-cell, it's going to be a screamer, obviously, as you guys know. And so, yeah, with that, thanks for checking it out. Look forward to some more videos shortly. Me busting it out. I will have them soon. And in the meantime, latest.